Alright, today on NewbieVeT, got a special guest. She's back.
Yes, I'm back.
CeeCee, loyalty is royalty.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Oh, anytime. I'm glad to have you back.
Yes.
So how's everything been going for you?
Amazing, blessed. I can't complain.
Okay.
So everything been real good. Real good.
Okay. For those who don't know nothing about you, who haven't seen the last interview, can make a quick rundown about who you are. And
yeah, because it's been a minute.
Right.
Well, I'm CeeCee, loyalty is royalty, female rap artist. Since the last interview, I've dropped a project, Queen Chronicles. It's my EP that's out on Bandcamp. It's been doing pretty good. I might say so myself.
Right.
Also, I got the movies going on. Shout out to you. Shout out to Chantel, CTC.
Worker, putting in work.
Yes. And I've been privileged to have my music in your movies.
In the film.
Yeah, so it's I'm just overflowing with the blessings and the greater things to come.
Yeah, right. Facts. Because it's mostly like a 360 compared to where you come from, as far as like this serving time.
Yes.
Going through that whole process. Because you was doing music and all that even before then as well. So.
I got sidetracked in a lot of projects and things I had in play got backstage because,
It's life.
Prison, and life. Yes, and trying to rebuild and prioritize rebuilding and then get back to the music.
Right. People don't understand how hard it is to try to rebuild something and try to get some part of your life back. How hard was it for you?
Well, to be honest with you, because I have a good support system. I thank God I still have both my parents, mom and dad, and I also have amazing step parents, and I got amazing sisters. So as far as the support and the motivation, it was there in order for me to be able to, I can do this, It was more so harder trying to rebuild when you lost. When you had a house that you was in the process of buying, renting to own, and I was in my last year, 11 years, and it was like all wiped away. And then for only, it's crazy because it's like we having this conversation now, and then it's like my mind is like going back to
that.
Yes, and it's like, in my mind, when I went to prison, I didn't figure I was going to be gone that long. Because it was like, oh, it's just weed. I didn't realize the severity.
It was just weed.
Yeah, but it was more severe than just weed. Because once you go to certain places...
And do it at certain places.
Yeah, then it becomes...
intensifies.
Yes, so... I didn't realize all that, so I'm thinking, okay, it's just weed. I'm only gonna be there maybe 7 months, and it was during the time when they was doing the mass releases and stuff. So I was like, I ain't gonna really do nothing. So I was able, with the money that I had, to keep paying bills for about 7 months, and then the money ran out. So I'm in prison. I gotta get my family to pack up my entire house because the day I went to prison, where I had to go turn myself in, I locked my door as if I was going to the store and I was coming right back. It didn't register like you're gonna be gone for some months. It didn't click until the chain gang, when you hear that door and it echoes, then I knew like, I think this is a whole lot more serious than what I thought.
Right.
So to have a vehicle that was seized in the midst of what I had going on, lost my house, which means the stability for my kids that they were used to in this one house for 11 years is like, it was too much. And then to get out, but see that's where it goes back to, and pardon me if it seems like I'm like, but it's almost like because we're talking about it, my mind is like replaying it, and then I'm like really like feeling it like.
Right.
But when I got out, I did have the support system where I had a car when I got out. I had a house that my kids and my grandbaby was at when I got out. All I had to do was get out.
Yeah.
But what I had worked for and what I had was gone. Where I'm at, I'm thankful and I'm grateful that I have this and I have this to come home to, but I didn't work for that. So it was almost in my mind like the person that did it for me really loved me.
Right, really.
But for me, it didn't click because it wasn't something that I accomplished on my own.
Right.
So in my mind, I was always thinking like, I didn't do anything to get this. I'm not in a position right now, fresh out of prison, to maintain any of this. So it's almost like a mental battle, like when you feeling like at any moment could it just be like
snatched away from you.
Yeah, because I didn't work at nothing. It was just pretty much just laid out for me when I came home. And I think I struggled with that more so than anything. So when you go back to how hard was it to rebuild, so you see where I'm going with it. So I didn't lose it, you know, but that it took me a while to like, okay, you didn't work for this, but somebody that loved you enough made sure you was good.
It was good.
It's okay. I don't think I ever got over that. Because I come from a background where my mother raised me and my sister to always work, always have your own. And if you have a man, you could be an asset to him. Yeah. He could be an asset to you. And y'all can work together to build something. So if you don't have anything on your own, you're pretty much under the mercy or the, you know, the control, depending on who you're dealing with. Yeah, right. So I struggled with that. And even though I'm grateful and thankful, that was the hardest part of rebuilding. Rebuilding when I don't have anything at first to start off rebuilding. So then I was back working. Right. I hadn't worked in years because I was hustling.
So hustling, right?
Yeah, and then when in and out of jail for the same thing, because I don't want nobody to think it was anything beyond that.
Gotta make sure you say that, yeah.
Yes, it was. You done messed it up for yourself with your background, that when you're applying for these jobs that you're qualified for education-wise, but based on your background, no.
Yeah.
When I first got out, I applied for 23 jobs in that first week.
How many called you back?
None of those 23.
None of the 23 calls?
No.
That's crazy.
No. And through a friend that already had established a job, looked out for me and talked to the manager. And when I did the interview, I explained to him, look, I just got out of prison. This is what I went to prison for. This is how long I did. But besides all that, I want to work. I need to work. I want to be productive. I got things to rebuild. And they gave me a chance. Shout out to Foskey.
What's up?
Yeah.
What's up?
Yes.
What's up? What's up? So it didn't take that long once you did started back working and get something to get back like you want to. Because I totally relate to what you were saying, what you said a few minutes ago about having your own. I struggle with that too. I don't like living with no one. I like to have my own. You know what I'm saying? It's just how I was raised too as well. I think it's more of like old school way. Like as far as like we have real like the old school.
And see, we're from down south. We're from southern, so it's it's a lot different.
It's always have your own. You gotta have a job because you know
things change.
Things change though.
People feelings change, and So
do you feel like old traditions, as far as like how the stuff that me and you was raised on, do you feel like those things still take effect to this new generation, or you feel like you can't teach those old traits to these new generation? What you say?
Let's see. Because I have to think about the age group of my daughters, 18 and 23.
Right.
But at the same time, it goes back to what you said, how we was raised.
Right.
I've raised and instilled in my daughters what my mother, my grandmothers, my aunts instilled in me. It's old school, and with some of the new, not like my daughters, they're receptive to it because they understand it. But at the same time, they're still in a different generation. So sometimes to them it seems, oh, that's old fashioned. And we don't, you know. But when it comes to like outside youth, when it comes to that, I feel like it's really, really hard for them to grasp tradition.
Right.
And I feel like if they did, a lot of the struggles and the hardships and the different things that they go through, they wouldn't go through it. Right. Because when we was growing up, it was rules and regulations, and you stuck to them. And if you didn't stick to them, it was discipline. You couldn't just do whatever you wanted to do.
Right.
The most you could do, your mom may let you go. And see, with me being a female and I'm having, I got a younger sister. I got more than one sister, but this particular sister, we got the same mom and same dad. So we was in house together. So we couldn't just go outside and just play. You know how some kids can run around, play all day in the neighborhood.
Right.
And your mom would say, you got to be in before the street light come on. No, it wasn't that for us. We could only go outside when my mom was home. My mom worked. She was a single mom, so she worked all the time. So when we came home from school, it was come in, lock yourself in, do your homework, make sure you do your chores, and that was pretty much it during the week. We would be able to, you know, do a little something on the weekends outside and stuff, but it was rules. If Miss Bobby Jean seen you doing something that she know your parents would not approve of, she's going to come and get you.
Right.
Like she your mom or your auntie.
Right.
And then she gonna make sure she tell your mom and your dad. And you're gonna be chastised, so you'll know why you think your mom and your dad's not around, you can do this and that. Miss Bobby Jean looking. Miss I'm trying to think of some ladies.
Miss Cookie.
Miss Vern.
There's always a Miss Cookie somewhere. Yeah.
They watching and they looking, so you was more cautious about what you did because you always knew like somebody's watching and you're going to have to be accountable for this.
Right.
But the new generation is kind of hard sometimes. I won't say all of them because I've come across some young folks that sometimes when you meet them, interact with them, you don't get that respect until you explain something to them and kind of like give them some OG talk, OG wisdom, and some of them are receptive, like, okay, I get you. I'm like, you don't have to be like this. I'm like, a lot of us that are in our age group, the young people should aspire to want to be our age group. 30-something, 40-something, 50-something, 60-something, 70-something. If you go through life not wanting to listen to people that, as you can see, they're older than you, so that means they've been doing something and God's been blessing them to be here.
Still be here.
Exactly. So I'm like, I'm going to listen to something that this person's saying, even if they're not a relative, because it could be something that could take me throughout life. Right. And that's what I think they miss sometimes. They think it's, you trying to tell me what to do. I do what it's not that. It's the generation I come from, you want the best for every kid.
Right.
The kids that's in the neighborhood, they used to be watched and looked after like they were their own kids. And it was like, I heard a saying, I can't remember where I heard it, but it was when neighbors, when neighbors are taking, it just went away from me.
So saying?
Yes, it's a saying somewhat like when, like pretty much like the neighborhoods aren't like how they say it takes a village to raise a family.
Yeah.
Once you take the neighbor out of neighborhood, all you left with is the hood. When you think about neighbor from what I come from, is Miss Bobby Jean and all them looking out for all the kids, and you know if you do something wrong, this person gonna tell your mama you're gonna be accountable. That's more of like a neighbor. So when you take all that out and people are just like, oh, I ain't got nothing to do with that. Let them do whatever they want to do. You seeing kids running around cussing and carrying on, and you sitting there. I'm the type, I'm going to say, baby, why are you cussing like that?
Right.
I say, have some respect.
Right.
Like, you too pretty to be cussing. A young lady like you shouldn't have a filthy, dirty, potty mouth. And, you know, something of that nature to somewhat give correction, but also a little, you know, like
You're not giving them that angry thing back to them, because most of them kids is doing that are angry kids.
They are. They're angry and they hurt.
Right.
Traumatized kids.
Right.
You know? And I learned that, and see, it's like it's flowing now, how we talking. Being in prison and being a mother, there's always my kids been in the house with me. For anybody that, whatever they said, I've never really worried about that, because I know the facts. My family knows the facts. My kids know the facts. You know, but in that 18-month span that I was away from my kids for that longest period of time in their life, and to be around other women that were mothers in prison, that had time.
That's some years.
Yes, some never coming home. To the point you like, I can't imagine me not seeing my kids outside of them coming to visit me.
So what were some of the women's what were some of the women's moods that had life that was never coming home? Like, what was their mood? Like, were they happy every day? Was they depressed every day? Or you had some that you didn't even know they had life?
It's like a combination, a mixture of all of what you just said.
Right, okay.
And a lot of it would depend more so on how we're talking about background, family background. Those that may have had a life sentence. And I've been in there, and this is a true story. I was in, let me see, because Pulaski State Prison. And I was in there with 2 Chainz, his auntie, Maddie. Beautiful, looked like a beautiful porcelain doll Indian with long, almost like gray, white locks just down her back. And at the time, allegedly they were saying, okay, that she had life, and she had already been there for an extensive amount of time.
Right.
And she was the sweetest person ever. And you never would have thought, whatever the alleged charges were or whatever, you never would have thought that. You never would have thought she's has life. She's never going home.
Right.
Because her spirit was just so sweet and calm. And she did eventually go home. She did.
Oh.
She did. And they loved that lady, and they used to like cater to her, and she was just a sweet spirit. She really was. But then I had another bunkie at some point, because, you know, they be shifting and doing all different type of stuff, that had life. And based on her charges, she was really angry, real hostile, just like you could feel the tension. I'm like, I don't want to be in no room with, because I'm like, I know I'm going home.
Yeah, like, why would you put me in the room with this crazy ass?
Yeah, but see, that's what you learn when you go to prison. It ain't like jail. It don't work like, no. When you go in Pulaski State Prison was a medium level prison. When I was at Lee Arundel, there was diagnostics, and I got stuck there for a little minute. That's the top security. That's where the brat was,
right,
at Lee Arundel. But a lot of stuff when it just comes down. And then I met, it was another lady that I met. And I don't want to, call names, but I would like to, because I would like to kind of let them know how they really touched me and changed my life. And I never looked at them as inmate 00111 whatever. Right. I looked at them as the individual, but she ended up going home. And she had life. And she had been fighting her case. And she eventually went home. And how I found out she went home, I came across her name on Facebook.
Wow. And
a lot of the ladies that I went to, the different prisons that I went to, it was a few ladies that was from this area. But I keep in contact with a lot of them. And one thing that I can say, the majority of the ladies that I came across, they doing exceptionally well for themselves. And the majority of them haven't went back. They really done leveled up and changed their lives. That's and when good, I see that, it just, I never feel bad and beat myself up about going to prison, because I feel like it changed my life.
Right.
God really, that's what it took to break me, for me to do the right thing. I always knew to do the right thing because I was raised from a good family.
Right.
But I've always been, my parents, my siblings will say, yeah, she did. I did. I made my own path. I know what I'm supposed to do, but I'm like, I'm going to take a risk. Let me see.
Why the hell not?
Yeah. And for me, that's just who I was. But I just...
You had a rush for excitement or something back then?
It was not a rush for excitement. It was more curiosity.
Gotcha.
And I never just went with what you saying. Oh, you shouldn't do this because of this. I'm like, well, I'm just going to see what, and I'm not saying any and everything, but I'm just saying, as a teenager, as a kid, right, breaking rules to where, like, if you're supposed to get off from work at 11, right, and your mom is going to be there to pick you up, why would you leave and go to another city with your homegirls? Like, you really think you can do that and get away with it?
Right.
That type of thing.
Right.
But I was just like, what the hell? I'm just, and my sister to this day, we laugh about it. She was like, one thing I can say, you lived your life. Whatever you wanted to do, and she was like, you did. And to a certain extent, I feel like she's not, condoning or anything like that, anything that I did that was wrong, but just like the courage and when you step out and do something, taking a risk and not knowing, like, is this going to be good? Is it going to be bad?
Right.
I was just like, and I always faced it. Whatever the consequences was, that's just what it was. And I took it like a champ, but I probably, might do it again, do something else. So that's why I feel like God really saved my life and sought me down in prison where I had nothing but time to think. And when you sitting there on that cold, hard bunk, you're going to think about everything wrong you did, every person you wronged, every time your mom had to cry because you went to jail. And I thank God for my sister, my sister Darcy, because one thing she did, And anytime I had them hiccups in jail, my kids ain't never been in no system. My kids ain't never been here, there, everywhere. I have a support system. I always had. And that's who always would get my kids. So me sitting on that bunk, I'm thinking about all the many times that my sister done been there for me when I was just jail. Now it's prison.
Now it's prison.
And it's like, and my sister is helping raise my daughter and my granddaughter. And my baby girl, her dad is a very present, active father. He always been. So when I went to do my time, he stepped in and boom, I got my baby girl. And he raised her. She's flourishing. She's been doing good. And my kids, and I'm going to call them kids forever, even though they're not kids.
Yeah, they're going to be our kids. Oh, yeah.
They forgive me. They forgave me. They didn't hold that over my head. But I'm not going to lie and say, it goes back to what we were saying about how the youth act with that anger.
Right.
It's because a lot of them are hurt. They
right.
traumatized. A lot of those kids have parents that's in prison. We only think about it sometimes like it's just men go to prison and oh, that's the norm.
Right.
The mama there with the kids and the daddy in prison. But
yeah.
It's also a reality that there are kids who have a mother in prison and the father is raising the kids.
Right.
We don't talk about that and we don't think about that. And the hardest thing...
It don't be meaning.
Yeah.
It don't be meaning. It's to the world don't be meaning. But when you get to a women's prison and see all those women in there, you be like, damn.
And I just thought, when I see him, I'm just thinking about, oh, you got kids? I got kids. I was like, Lord, they have all these women confined in this place. And what about the kids? What the kids feeling? Because I know it hurt mine.
Right.
And it took rebuilding. We back to that word again.
Right.
Rebuilding that was broken due to me with my girls. It took time. It did. But how I raised my daughters to be respectful, they was always expressing how they felt without being disrespectful. My oldest daughter, I realized she's more like me. So she a little more, gonna give it to her mama a little more raw. My baby girl, she more soft-spoken like her daddy.
Right.
But the oldest one, she let me know. And that was like a wake-up call, like what a lot of parents, men or women, you have to realize your decisions are going to affect your kids.
That's true.
And no matter how much money you got to buy them and do this, that doesn't replace what you did that broke your kids, hurt them. You have to get to the root of that, or their feelings, their emotions of how they felt when you was gone, and why did you choose that
over them.
Yeah. Even though in your mind, I'm getting some money, I'm providing for it, and they can remember the trips and mama buying this and stuff like that, but that don't matter.
Right.
That should have been like, we don't need all that. We want you not to do whatever to be taken away from us. You know, so it's just a lot, but I'm so grateful for all of it. So anytime I can have an interview or even just a casual conversation where during time comes up, I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to talk about it to a point where it be like, dang, for the person I'm talking to, like, that's some real shit. But at the same time, it be something that'll stick with you, so when you go on in your daily life, you won't crash out. You won't be thinking you can just keep getting money in the street hustling and you're going to continue to do that. Right. Because the actuality, certain stuff I had been doing it, and it was, but that's when I knew it was God saying like, okay, you just thinking you invincible. You just think you can just, and he showed me, no, you can only do so much in the dark before it comes to the light.
That is so true.
Yeah.
That's so true.
So
yeah, that's so true.
Shout out to growth and elevation. That's what all this about doing a bid was about growth, elevation, and learning from your mistakes, and not beating yourself down, not allowing other people to beat you down, and you actually learn and change from it and share your experiences with other people so they can learn something from it.
Right. Awesome. Yeah. That's so true. So, due to the fact that you into filming, the movies, music, and the whole nine in the entertainment business, you have daughters, older daughters. So, which means you also see your daughter's pages as well. So does it bother you, like, seeing, like, all the grown men on your daughter's pages? Does it bother you?
Yes.
It does?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, why are you here? And that's how I be. I'm like, and see, me and my daughter, my oldest daughter, we both of my daughters, we real close. Me and my oldest daughter, we have this thing, raw, uncut.
Right.
Long as you're not using profanity
And
when
not
you
going
talking to
crazy
me.
with it. You
Yes,
can talk.
give
We
me
can
the
have a
real.
conversation.
Because I've always been like that with them. To the
Right.
point my sister be like, why are you saying that? Because that's how they gonna hear it in the real world.
Right.
So I'm going to give it to them how I know they going to hear it. So when they hear it, they be like, oh, this is what mama was talking about.
Right.
But my oldest daughter, she real open with me where she be like, Mom, you know this person? Or this or that. And I be like, ah. And then I be looking, I be like, give me the phone. Block, delete. But a lot of it is, that's my baby.
Right.
Both of them my baby.
Yeah.
So even though they're at a legal age and they're adults.
And they got kids.
Yes, well, one got kids, one getting ready to graduate, go to college, but they still my baby. So I'm just like, no.
Right. You know, you damn sure don't want to see it.
No.
Yeah.
So with my daughter, it's like, I don't want to like control her, and I don't want to equate everything to because someone's a friend on your friend in your friends list, or comment and give you a compliment that I'm trying to correlate it to this person is trying to be with my daughter. Now, it's some that I know done try to talk to my daughter, and I'm like,
you know better.
I almost want to turn to the camera with this finger.
You got hit with the Uncle Sam.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah.
But that's life.
Yeah.
I gotta think about when I was that age, and if you that's just what it is.
Yeah, my daughter's 19, so it's like I totally get it. My daughter's 19; she's very beautiful, and there's a lot of thirsty men on her page. These like full grown men. These like
why are you here?
19, they like 30 something.
Yeah.
No business being on the page.
Exactly.
She just graduated, so it's like. But what can you say?
And if you know your child and you know what you instill in them, and when you see look, man, you know.
Right.
How I could get about you with. So as long as she understands that.
Oh yeah, we got that.
And then I can fall back and not make her feel like, well, what I'm doing wrong. Then a lot of times folks just like to add. Oh, I know your mama. I know your daddy. So boom, I'm gonna add you.
Right.
So I'm not gonna say everybody would be on something like that. You know.
I'm talking about just people that it be like, you follow me, I don't know you, but you follow me on my page. But how in the hell you know my daughter?
That's why I hate tagging my daughter.
I don't tag my daughter name in nothing. I don't post none of my family stuff. And if I do post it, I don't tag their names in it. Because it'd be too many weird people. Then it'd be people that you're not even cool with following them.
Yeah.
Like, why you following my family? Like, we're not even cool. They don't even know you. It's like you.
And see, I gotta be more selective, because that's the thing. You may just, was, friend request, okay. Because I'm doing music and movies, I'm creating content, getting a little meta coins. So I think real breezy about certain stuff. I don't think too deep in it.
Right.
But that's how a lot of time people kind of try to wiggle their way into something because you don't really know what their motive is when they hit that add button.
Right.
And I'm like, well, if my page is public, that means I ain't got nothing to hide. So what do you need to be you can just scroll. You ain't got to add me as a friend.
Right.
I appreciate those that I prefer to follow. Hit the follow button.
You hit the follow button. You ain't gonna know who following you unless you go to their page directly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't be really thinking, but then you have to think because, like you say, it's a whole lot of weird stuff be going on with people and with so
right.
I totally get you. Yes.
You gotta think. You got a bunch of it's no age limit, but you have a bunch of guys and women that didn't have that luck when it comes to finding good, reliable relationships with people.
Mm-hmm.
So they always look for the fresh new meat. You know what I'm saying? The new 19-year-olds, the new 20-year-olds.
Okay, well, when I think about that, go to the chain gang then. You like fresh, they like fresh too.
Yeah.
Take your ass in there, old ass nigga trying to fuck with somebody's daughter. Excuse my language. Somebody's daughter that's I ain't playing them games. I'm not playing them games. But I mean,
what you think the term sugar daddy and sugar mama come from?
Well, I thank God my daughter don't want no old ass man. If I have to work my fingers to the bone, not till I'm 1,000 years old, that whatever she want, whatever she need, call your mom.
Right.
That's the key word. I'm going to call my mama. Yeah, call me.
Right.
Call me. No, it won't be no old granddaddy talking. No. My daughter probably going to be like, ew.
But that's the craziest thing because back in the day, our grandparents was at least 10. They were at least 15, 20, 10 to 15.
Older than each other.
Than each other.
Mm-hmm. Some older than that.
Yeah, some older than that. Like my uncle BJ, blessed the dead, and my married. He married her young too. She wasn't even over. She wasn't even over 18 when he married her. Like they've been together before they passed away, but they've been together for a long ass time. Then my granddaddy, them two, and my grandmother, he's 20 years apart from each other, something like that in that range, something like that. I'm like, ew, granddaddy.
But I'm not gonna cap now because this is an interview that's gonna be public, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't want to say what I said and then from my past come like, hey man, you gotta watch what but it's different back then and now. It wasn't 16, 17. And he in his 40s and all that. No.
Right.
I might be 17, finna be 18, and he's in his 20s, something like that. But this whole, I'm a kid, I'm a teenager, dating somebody that's literally old enough to be my granddaddy, that's what's going on now.
Right. It's always been going on though. You gotta think even back then.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You got when the girls even to this day it still goes on because you got the young girls and the young boys when they get into the high school and puberty hits them. Now they got that feeling of that pheromone of want to start dating and they want more mature people. They want somebody that already has stuff going for themselves, money, cars, the whole nine, so they can try to get a step on things faster than others that's in school. So it's that's when you see the young girls be dating the older dope dealers.
I did that before, but all I was thinking about was, because see, I ain't going out with you because my mom wasn't having that. Yeah. So it's okay. I can get my hair done, keep my Nikes and outfits and stuff like that, and Valentine stuff at the school. Right. But Like for me back then, I wasn't thinking like how they thinking, how you just said, like they they do this to, I'm getting this money, I'm stacking, I'm trying to build, I'm trying to do this and go.
Right.
It wasn't like that back then for me.
Right.
In my era, I don't really remember it like that for in my age group now, but I do remember, like you saying, it was some that were, but it was more like, I'm like, is that her uncle or what? But you didn't really know, but you knew.
Yeah.
And it was more like, it ain't all public like how it is now.
Cause that's like looking at like weird. It's like looking at a ninth grader. People don't look at how weird a ninth grader and a 12th grader look. If you look at the ages, it's weird. You know what I'm saying? Because of the age gap. But they date all the time.
Yeah.
Like ninth graders, like I promise you, you already know, like coming from middle school, your first day in ninth grade, you have all the 10th, 11th, and 12th graders looking at you. Trying to be the first one to touch something, grab something, like something, hate something. The first one. It's a constant thing to this day.
It is.
And still, young girls are still going for older men that's still in school.
I thank God that I don't have thank you, Lord. Thank you. Because I probably would be done lost my mind.
But why you think, because, okay, you said you dated somebody older when you were younger, right? One time.
I ain't say one time.
All the time.
I always prefer older.
Okay, all right, so.
But that's a little daddy issue. And not is I'm trying to equate this man to, I want you to be my father. No.
Right.
But it was something in this older man that reminded me of my daddy. So it's not to cross no lines on nothing weird. It's I come from a single parent home. My daddy was around. I got several siblings, different siblings. It's a whole bunch of us.
Right.
You know, so unfortunately, I didn't grow in-house with my father. So spending time with my dad always had his own house, always, own cars, own jobs, type thing like that. So when I did go around my dad, I was like, my daddy was like the shit. My daddy is the man.
So you spent time with your siblings too, though, right? You spent
You spent
more time with them than your father?
No, when we with my siblings that's outside of my sister, that we got the same mom and the same daddy.
Right.
When we was together, we was with our daddy.
Gotcha.
We was with my family on my daddy's side, my grandmother, my aunts, my cousins, that type of thing.
Gotcha.
You know, so, but it wasn't in-house. So it's like when I go and spend that time with my daddy, or he come over to our house to check on us, it's like I never wanted him to leave. And I was always a daddy's girl, but I wasn't a daddy's girl in the term of, this is my princess, because I'm his first daughter. He raised me more tough. I was a tomboy. Probably, I didn't really start wearing dresses and wanting to kind of until I was in 9th grade, 10th grade.
What made you want to do that? You change up since then?
I don't know. I think I started feeling myself then.
Okay.
And even though as me being a tomboy, I ain't going to tell no lie to you now. I ain't never had a problem. Ever.
Even as a tomboy?
I ain't never had a problem. Even
as
with the gap tooth, never. Even with the gap tooth that I got now that I had since forever. Never. Yeah. With the Jerry curl.
Oh, you had a Jerry curl?
Yes. I've never had a problem with it.
You had a full Jerry curl?
Yes, a little.
A small one?
Yeah, okay. My mama used to put the little cones, and my mama used to do everybody, pretty much all her homegirl. Yeah. She did their curls. She did their kids' curls. She did, yeah.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah, so.
My auntie got, she ain't got the curls no more. She used to have the curls, but okay.
Yeah.
That was
but I wasn't raised, it was just, I ain't gonna say raised. My mom, of course, she gonna, dress me like this and that. I hated it. We got some pictures that we was just coming across from we was little, and I was like, on that picture, I was like, oh my gosh.
Why you dressed hideous?
No, to me, I didn't like, because my mom used to always like dress me up, and then we go to church. We always had the pretty Easter dresses with the Easter shoes, the Easter basket with the stockings, and I hated the stockings because I used to like, these are itchy. I hate them, but oh, you going to church. And then, you know, she wanna, back then it was the straightening comb with the blue magic grease. Oh, yeah. And and getting ready for all that. Boom. I never had a problem, even as a tomboy. I was always kind of like relatable to guys. I related more to guys because it was always like my dad taught me to be tough. I used to like to run, play, just boy type stuff. And I think I related to the guys, but I wasn't like a hot little girl walking around hot, like, no, my mama wasn't going for that. So, but yeah, I ain't never had no problems. But I ain't start like really like trying to dress up and wear a dress on my own where I'm like, okay, until like 9th grade, 10th grade.
So, doing music in today's market, do you feel like it's a lot harder to get music seen and heard than it was back then, even though there's a lot of internet to be played with? But do you feel like there's still some type of restrictions and things and limits to why things don't work as fast for you, as far as when it comes to your music?
I like the old school way of when they had the CDs.
Yes.
And you actually,
made more money.
Get your music out there, you got to push, promote, drive here, go there, pass this out, talk to people. And when they bought your CDs, it's coming straight to you. It's like everything now is really more accessible, where it makes everything easier, but it makes it harder because it's like, how much control over my stuff do you have versus what I have?
Right.
And it gets so deep and intricate with rights to your music, different things to it's like, okay, I can go this route.
Right.
And get this stuff put out here like this, but that costs money. It was easier to me back then, where you could just walk and kick it and network with people, and I'm this so and so and so. Nowadays you ain't, don't nobody want you walking up on them talking about no. Everything is on downloaded and this and that. So I feel like it is pertinent and necessary for you to have that digital marketing, promotion, distribution, something to give yourself a boost, but it's gonna cost you some money.
Cost you some money, right?
Yeah. So and then you just have to find what works for you, even if it's at a minimum, at the most minimum amount that you can afford. But you can afford this to do something for yourself to put your music out there, and that's what I learned. Don't try to worry about what they doing. No. Their money might be longer than mine. Right. My money could be long as theirs, but my priorities and my responsibility may supersede what they got going on. They may not have all this going on. Facts. Where they can just, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I might could do it, but if I do it, this I'm going to be taken away from this bill, from this. That bill. And that's where all the capping come in.
Facts.
And, you know, so...
That's how a lot of people be losing stuff. Like, they choose, like you said, they fuck a bill. I'm finna pay, I'm finna goddamn ball out. You know, I get some more, I can hustle up some more money real quick to pay that bill. Because you don't hustle it up before. You feel like you can get it quicker, like you get it that time. And sometimes it doesn't work like that.
It don't. So you have to be smart, and I feel like you have to read, research, and surround yourself with business-minded people that know what you don't know, and that are willing to be honest and genuine with you to teach you and tell you this what you need to do for this and for that. And you just got to like think it out.
Right.
And get you solid people in your corner that you can trust when it comes to different things.
Get people that want you to win.
That's right.
Like don't get people that's envy of you, like, which is hard. It's easy said than done because you don't know who's envious of you. They're not up in front with it.
Yeah. Usually you don't find that out till some shit hit the fan and you're like, well, so this how you felt like
the whole time.
Yeah,
That's facts. That's facts. Yeah, that's all facts. Yeah. So, Queen Chronicles.
Yes.
That was a project you dropped last year.
Yes.
That's your baby.
Yes.
It's actually your first project too, right?
It is, because all the trials and tribulations I was doing, so I never was able to complete a project. Shout out to CTC.
Yeah.
Music group. Thank you so much.
You gotta put yourself though. You put a lot of work into that album.
I did, but I'm just being real with you. The support from you all, I promise you, that's what I needed. Because to go from having all these partners and homegirls, and before I went to prison, then go to prison, and then when you get out, them people pop back in, but they expect you to still be the old person. When they realize you're not that old person, you change. They like, oh, you ain't fun no more. But you ain't cool no more. You stuck up, you act a little bougie, you act a little stale. No, I changed my life.
That's crazy when people only want to hang with the bad side of you. Like the good side of you is boring.
I've been told that before, even though they don't know.
Boring?
I'm lit. I'm really lit, but
someone said that you're boring.
Boring as in
like you said somebody called you boring before. Like as far as your personality,
it was a nigga.
Maybe you wasn't into him or something. Was that it?
I was, but it was more so. What he wanted was the old me. He wanted that old me energy. That's not me.
Right.
I'm older now.
Right.
I've learned. I've elevated.
Right.
I don't care what you think, what you see, what you thinking you about to have going on. That's not what I'm on. You gonna respect it or,
right?
You know. So a lot of people, they left. Right. A lot of people
Right.
So at the time when everything came about organically with y'all, I knew then, like, that's what I needed. Because it was always there with the music, but it was like, I don't want to deal with this person. I don't want to, is it drama, this, that. I don't want all that. I'm like, I want somebody really like, look, I got a brand, do what I'm trying to do. Like, let's, collab and come in together and let's build something.
Right.
Then I'm like, it was a family. Right. It is a family.
Right.
And the same way I feel about my actual biological family, I don't want to let them down. That's how I look at this. So it's like, when it comes to the new project that I'm working on, I'm going to put more into this based on what I'm just saying.
Right.
You know, I'm like, okay, it's already solidified. I done did this, but I'm trying to like show them like,
right,
and show you what I've learned. Show Chantel what I've learned. Show everybody what I've learned, because I've learned something from everybody.
And it goes back to what we said before: growth.
Exactly.
Yeah, everything goes always a full 360, just growth. Yeah, always showing that growth. So. Yeah, I'm excited to work with you on this new project. Ready to hear what you come up with. Yeah, I'm excited this year.
Me too. Me too.
Very excited. So, you had your first lead role, Trouble Mystic.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of you could say She Thought, but I would say Trouble Mystic because...
I've had, about Trouble Mystic, I had experience in,
so I say Trouble Mystic, was your lead role,
Yes.
Yeah, so how was it like having a lead role? As far as like, is it a lot of stress?
I wouldn't say a lot of stress. It's more so you got more of a higher expectation to deliver, because lead role mean like you need to know your lines, you need to know what's going on. You're not a supporting actress, you're not an extra, anything like that. So you got to bring, you got to give it. And I'm so like I said, it's family. I feel like I don't want to let y'all down. Same way I feel like if my parents, my family, my sisters and them. So I'm going to always like, that's going to supersede whatever nervousness or stress.
Right.
Because I'm like, if I'm stressed out, I'm not going to be able to do what I'm doing because that stress going to override everything. Right. So as long as I'm thinking like, okay, I'm here to do a good job and not disappoint, then I'll be good. Right. But it was fun.
Right. Cause the lead is, like I said, has a lot of pressure because like we turn on the movie and we have to watch you the whole movie. Mm-hmm. Can't make an error. Mm-hmm. You gotta be on it. Mm-hmm. Like you can't be hiding in the crowd with a bunch of other actors in the scene. You lead. So yeah, you did an awesome job. Like,
thank you.
Very, very awesome job.
Thank you.
Awesome job. Awesome job.
And shout out to Huncho too.
Huncho. Yes,
because he's the comedian. Yeah, so I was like, I hope. Like me and him, we get on set and just in general, it's always like a roast session, always funny. So I was like, okay, this movie, we got to be serious in this. So I was like, man, please don't be, making me laugh and all that. But yeah, he did a good job and he made me comfortable enough that I could like really get into a role where I'm like, okay, he being serious. Right. He ain't comedian Huncho. He's the character. Right. So I was able to keep a straight face and actually feel the scenes. And he did a good job. And I told him I appreciate him for that because I ain't gonna lie, I was nervous. I wasn't stressed out, but I was a little nervous.
But you did it though. You did it and you knocked it out.
Thank you.
All right. Before we start off on NewbieVeT, how can they get in contact with you and is there any love you want to shout out?
Always I want to shout out my parents, my dad, my stepmom, my mom, my stepdad, Mama. Both my daughters, Lilo, Adriana, my grandbabies, Bryson, Tootie. Special surprise. But shout out to CTC United. And I have a special place in my heart for Chantel. I really do. I think she's just an amazing person. I really do. Oh, I admire her. I really look up to her, even though I'm older than her. It's crazy, but it's real. Right. And she give me strength. I feel empowered. I feel a woman empowerment from her. And I just want to shout her out, give her flowers. Shout out to you, J.Paul.
Oh, she gonna really appreciate. I appreciate it.
I really do.
She really gonna appreciate it. She might cry.
I really do because you just sometimes people don't understand the impact that people have on somebody's life. Right. And it's beyond a movie. It's beyond a song. It's genuine. That outside of all of that, I genuinely feel like the people that I'm around in CTC is genuine.
Facts.
Shout out to y'all. Shout out to my man. My man. Let me stop. I always wanted to say that because they girls be saying it on the thing. Yeah, but y'all want to reach me. CeeCee, Loyalty is Royalty on all platforms. Check me out on Bandcamp. Queen Chronicles, my EP. Shout out is still going up. I appreciate y'all.
New video coming soon.
Yes. 2 videos coming soon.
2 videos coming soon.
Music on the way. Go check out The Weight Game. It's out now. We got the special effect coming February 25th.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Check that out. Yeah, check out the CTC Music Group compilation album that's already out on Bandcamp. And we got a new one dropping for y'all March 2025.
Yep.
I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. This has been a great interview.
Yeah.